Multi-animators projects, MAP, or its editor's counterpart, MEP, are really something, huh? It's such an incentive for artists, especially newer ones, to hone their skills and pursue animation. Looking at so many artists, including the art of editing, all bundled together with catchy music and sometimes even a cohesive, unique theme and storytelling is inspiring. To work on your passion and contributing to a bigger cause and community while making a name for yourself, a host with a vision, an artist with a call. Maps and MEPs are a game changer, a childhood changer, a life changer. But consider this. MWP. A multi-writers project could be, like, for example, from the workplace. The lead writer makes the skeleton, including the outline of the story, while the writers are assigned parts to give flesh, as we can say. After, the lead writer edits and makes it flow, the skin. Though in MWP's case, the parts don't need to share the same style. It's an honoration of all writers' individual voices and skills. Simply from what I've been seeing, not what's actually true or not, in projects, indie or Hollywood, you'd have all these big fun events for these directors and voice actors. Writers, unless they are the director or maybe at least the lead writer, are more of a monolith rather than individuals with their own unique skills, perspectives, voices, or charm. You'd see when the writing is good or great, the reviewers applaud the writing or the writers, but never names. Meanwhile, when an actor does a good performance, it's, "Wow, good job, Woody Harrelson," and "I loved you," and Hoppers and Finding Nemos and stuff like that. And while us poor, oppressed and starved writers take the backstage, damn voice actors get their gosh darn cult following them to movie, and oh, Dwayne Rock Johnson is in there, it's gotta be good, with their funny interviews, petting lambs, and their epic casting call result reveals, and their Q&As and their live streams with the directors. They get to have their attachment to their characters, and fans celebrating their birthdays, detailing all the characters they're associated with, despite the bond between writer and character that could never be broken. They get fun spin-off hype videos with their fun little voiceovers, their gameplays, their Gartic phone, their phasmophobia, being called to singing projects, and being involved in character events, and being renowned as the one and only voice actor of character. No! Unacceptable! Look at them. Their greed sickens me. Us writers must come together and reclaim our individuality. Just making it clear though, I don't really care if actors get more attention. I'm joking. Lol. Also, sorry for the bad and inconsistent mic quality. In fact, writers do garner a lot of honor when they're authors, with their very own books under their name. They garner their own following in Q&As, interviews, even if not a fun community side sub-projects. So do largely known animators like James Baxter. But in terms of community projects, animators do have maps to showcase themselves and their unique expressions. I'd imagine a multi-writers project could install the same passion and quick prompt or practice, carefully knitting together a platform for newer or general aspiring writers, like maps and animation memes to artists. I'd be talking more about maps than MEPs in this video, as with my childhood experience, I believe I'm more expert with maps, though I'm sure there's as much talent and passion in MEPs as well. On the MWP host side, it could allow them to have a fully fledged story accompanying a certain aspect or a vague broad concept. Have you ever thought of something like a Danganronpa story, but you're only really fixated on 1 to 4 characters and thought of a bunch of detailed moments just for them while having vague snippets for the half-baked other characters? Or had this weird dream about dark horror sea urchin whose spikes are part-time serial killer, in which you got some big plot influential ideas but lazy on the in-betweens? Or have too many story ideas at once because you have this big concept and only really care about that big concept and don't have enough time to fully bake the story because you keep on jumping to the next idea? So yes, there's a problem. MWP can be the solution. In the given outline, you could give a lot more details for the parts you think more of, while giving more broad yet still juicy details for the other parts. Perhaps some people are more interested in writing and participating with more framework, while others are attached to your overall vision, but still love to work with more freedom and hone their improvisation and imagination. This way, you can showcase the concepts that you care dearly about while having the full story behind them to make them feel complete. I think this approach to storytelling could be an antidote to AI-generated writing, as people usually use AI because they want this idea of theirs done fast with a lot done, though it's quite ethically questionable and an unfair cheat. With MWP, it does put the host at an unfair advantage in the sense of having their story done, but it would have purpose within its leap. It hands the stage to many other humans to build their own passionate work abiding your design. It wouldn't have the stealing controversy, and it could also get loads done fast. I believe an average of 2,000 words per part with a minimum of 2 weeks deadline should be the standard. Writing is much faster than, let's say, animating. For the average person, according to Google, writing 2,000 words takes 1 to 2 hours, so the deadline would be quite generous. And yet, reading aloud 2,000 words at a normal pace takes around 15 minutes. Just by having 6 participants, you could have an already movie-length narrative. It doesn't even need to be 100% cohesive, like artists and maps. The details, styles, composition might not translate accurately from part to part, but people still like it. The host, when reading the finished product aloud, could always take a pause and announce the part number along with credits translating to the next chapter in an audiobook, as well as design each part so the writer doesn't have to awkwardly cut it in the middle of nowhere and allow for a smooth resolution, unless abrupt cuts are necessary. So, how would a multi-writers project work in development mode? As maps sometimes involve other art forms like music, design, script writing, editing on the host parts, with sometimes voice acting, while centering art and animation for the participants, MWPs can involve music, design, outlining, artwork and imagery, editing, voice narrations on the host's part, while centering writing for its participants. Map calls. Here comes the fun part. Map calls usually operate as a video you make on YouTube or other websites. It has a song, cool art, demonstrating the vibe and style they want for the finished project to have. Most importantly, they have the word part and the number 1 next to it, and every 5 seconds or so, they have the number counting up. In the description, they have credits and an info doc and a list of part numbers with either the word open or a name next to a number. Maybe even a deadline or done with a link next to the name. Maybe even a list of backups. For a MWP call, I imagine a familiar format. A video with art, with music, with the fashion show of parts. Though I'd imagine the video would start with a story blurb and a synopsis. The song is mainly for aesthetic purposes rather than used in the final product. Its lyric and melody giving an atmosphere and narrative feel to aim for in writing. Add that with the artwork and the thumbnail. Now this is starting to look like an animated series casting call mixed in with a map call, in which maybe it is. When counting up the part numbers, each part will be shown along a snippet of, or at least a short summary of its respective outline piece, to attract writers to that specific part when mixed with the general atmosphere of the video. As well as the title of the call contains the actual title of the host's story. I believe that the main strategies to appeal people to a MWP call lies in a good title, thumbnail, and presentation. I think hosting MWPs, alike with maps and MEPs, can be great practice to younger people on leadership and responsibility when creating artistic projects. I've hosted and joined maps ever since I was maybe even younger than 13. It's a very empowering experience to contribute to something big and loved, or to direct and guide people to something big and awaited. Plus, generally making a call with an idea that many people want to help with. It teaches a lot about accountability and deadlines, as well as marketing and communication between leader and employees. Since the point about MWPs needing good titles, thumbnail covers, blurb, and presentations mirror the real-life writer profession district. It's more safer, simpler, and easier than directing a fully fledged series, and the fallout, unless maybe you make one of those really ambitious maps, is less disastrous, as most participants would have probably forgot and moved on if the project goes nowhere. Something important I want to make clear when going into hosting is that you should avoid making a MWP call impulsively. You must be sure that this is the idea you want to spend a lengthy amount of time with other writers with, and have a somewhat lesser control over your vision than you would have if working alone. Even with presumably lesser consequences than canceling a series, there are bound to be people who still care and work an effort that should not be wasted. And yet, one of the most important things for both hosts and participants to know is self-discipline and humility when a creative vision goes unexpectedly. You shouldn't treat a MWP product like the undisputed official outcome of that concept in the only version that could exist, or at least I'd like that so. A host shouldn't be too emotionally attached to a strict vision and know that it should be completely acceptable to later post their own independent version of that concept done by themselves, or create another MWP call centered around that concept while differentiating it as another version. So long as it's never done to undermine the version that came before, it should never be seen as lesser or better version, but simply different. Every writer has different ideas, interpretations, and deviations of a premise. A whole different cast of writers could lead to a whole different MWP experience. When you post a MWP, it shouldn't be seen strictly as people working for the host's vision. It must be differentiated from a series or a big game project or whatnot, but alongside the host's vision, deriving from the same roots, with the host simply ahead. That's why I like to refer to MWP as a scripted showcase of writers sinking towards the same goal. Back to MWP calls. I made this doc as an example. You see, you have the project title, your name, the blurb that also presents what this writing journey would have to offer and what to expect, the trigger warning for good faith, the rules, the story Bible that could be as detailed or less detailed depending on you. They're just info to keep detail consistent or allow writers to use creatively. Now for the fun part, the parts that could be divided into chapters even. Make sure everyone can understand what POV to use. Some people seek writing beginnings, climaxes, endings more. So you can divide it like this for people to find their desired element of a story to indulge in or practice. There could be images associated with each part, or mood boards or imagery, or simply nothing for a part, so people can get the feel of their desired parts. Some outlines for parts could be more detailed while some are more loose. Around 2,000 words per part, and a 2-week deadline in case something unexpected comes along so they don't stress. There's also extensions in case of a worst case scenario. Word count could vary per part. As people have different writing styles with different pacing or parts with less broad details to work with, maybe have it in ranges like this part can have 1,200 to 2,500 words in between. You could allow your writers freedom to improvise and add talk about new ideas in Discord. Maybe can come up with cool overarching ideas that influence other parts too, of course with the host's permissions and desires. Or talk and share works to better sync. I think there's a lot of things we can do with a multi-writers project. For example, it could be more strict to the host's vision, cause even when I said I wanted the otherwise to be the standard, this could still work. The host could have a really detailed and precise outline, call for heavy yet still reasonable refinements like a more stricter map host may do with storyboards and calls for refinements. Spoof maps could be crack MWPs as in crack fips. Freestyled, unscripted maps could be translated to MWPs with different stories interacting with the same thing. Like in The King in Yellow, you have all these different stories with different characters, but they all read and meet the King in Yellow. Uniquely styled maps like Unravel Needletail could be MWPs with particular motifs, descriptions, symbolisms, literary devices, and writing quirks, like always bringing in butterflies or describing people as having red skin. James L. Barrie styled map versus Dostoevsky styled MWP. Victorian themed map versus Victorian styled prose setting MWP. Maps for a certain series and fanfic MWPs. And finally, when everyone's done their parts, everything's, including a blurb at the start, wrapped up and posted as an audiobook or audio drama, or just on like archive of our own or something. An audiobook titled as Completed Multi-Writers Project or MWP or MWP, rather than simply an audiobook. An audiobook with each part identified and credited in video by text or verbally narrated by you or someone else. It may even be the participants themselves, but I do fear it might be jarring, not simply because of the difference in voices, but mainly in mic quality. I do know changing prose style every part chapter may work, as I believe it falls under the term multi-vocality, though I'm afraid adding another layer to it might be overkill. Not to mention, what if the writer's ability to narrate isn't the best? Do you really want to be saying, "Hey, your Indian accent is hard to understand. I better do it for you." Now, Plus, since the main appeal is writing, I'd imagine narrating would be uninteresting to some and demotivate them on joining or finishing their parts. Though I'd like to bring up, an animator posting map parts provide free advertisements to their respective maps, especially when they're appealing enough to sit through and or make edit tribute of. I'd imagine a writer would compile screenshots of their work in video format or not, or just link it to a website, though a narration to the isolated parts would make it extra appealing to sit through by itself. So it really better just come down to the host's and participants' choice. In conclusion, MWPs, the writer's counterpart to maps and MEPs, I just think it'll be neat. If enough people are interested, I'd like to test it out. Or it'll be nice if other people could try and test it out too. So please comment what you think. I'll see you all next time.